What's up, everybody? It's the Hendo Show, and I got my girl Jay with me. What's going on?
What's going on, Jay?
J and J. Jay, Jae, right?
JAE all
Oh,
day long.
you know how we do it. It's Jay's in the building. Hey, I'm glad it's not spelled Jay, because I don't know how this flyer was gonna turn out with spelled the same. I just don't know.
Right.
So tell everybody about yourself, though. I don't want to get the details. I want you to tell everybody who you are, where you're from, who you with.
Who you with? So I'm from
Well,
Texas.
not who you with, like your business. Like,
No. I got you. So what's up, y'all? I'm Jay. I'm from Texas. I'm just a good old Texas country girl. Not really country, a little city, a little seasoned, whatever you want to call it. Just joining Jay on his show. I have been going live on TikTok, and he came in, saw a live or two of mine, and invited me on, and now I'm here. Now we're here ready to rock and roll tonight, talk about some good stuff.
Hey, her lives on TikTok, they be good. They be good. That's why I went on there and did my little recon, stalking a little bit. What was out there? I'm like, damn, she got something. I'm gonna reach out. So most people I've reached out to TikTok, they think I be trying to holler at them. No. I try to get somebody like this entertaining, is good to be on the show, and that can kind of rock with me afterwards and everything. It's always a good time. Always a good time.
Always.
So today we're talking about men's mental health and relationship, and actually this is her idea as the topic. I never really thought about that. It's pretty dope to like think of a man and his mental relationship, because we never think about that. We always think about the woman, and this is her idea. So, man, you can't say women are all about women. This is Jay's idea to talk about men's mental health and relationships. So,
absolutely.
I love you for that, Jay.
We got to flower our men just like we expect men to flower and water us, right? I mean,
how often do you hear women say that? A man being flowered. How often is that said?
Not very often. Not very often at all.
Not at all. So I know you said you got all these notes and took everything down, and I have a lot to say. So what is it you want to know about a man's mental health? Because I never thought about a man's mental health, me going through things, and I didn't think about that until last year, going through some things. But what is it that you want to add?
So what initially got me started on this topic was I was out and about one day, and I heard a couple not arguing, but they were having a disagreement. And the female wanted something, I don't know what it was, but she wanted something that was of a significant price, I'm assuming. And so I heard him tell her, have you ever just stopped to think maybe I can't afford it right now? And she's like, well, I don't understand. You've been working all those hours. And I was like, I sat there and I listened because, I don't even remember where we were at, but I was just listening because this man is like, he wasn't being ugly. He wasn't cursing at her. He wasn't saying it loud enough to where he could embarrass her. He was just telling her, like, I don't have the money right now. And she was just nagging, which I can say females, we're good at doing that. We can nag if we're not getting our way. But she was nagging, and he just walked off. But the look on this man's face was like kind of a look of defeat, maybe is the best way to explain that. And so,
was she loud?
She wasn't loud, but she was just being like, she was shooting jabs. Let me just say it that way. Like, you could tell, like, what do you mean you don't have the money? You've been working all these hours. Like, what have you been doing with the money? And he was like, I pay our bills. Like, I take care of the household. And so, he walked away, but it was the look of defeat on his face. And I sat there and I was like, man, like I've been divorced 8 years. I had a good marriage until the last 5 years, and that's what led us to a divorce. But I remember at one point in time looking at my ex-husband's face, and seeing the look of defeat when he was losing his family, right? So they got me thinking, like, man, I wonder if she's ever just stopped to ask him, like, you know what, maybe I don't need that. Is there anything I can help you with? And so I got to thinking, and so I brought that up one night in TikTok live, and I made the comment. And when I made this comment, like, a lot of men had a lot of stuff to say. So I made the comment that I can speak for myself and many other women, but I'm pretty sure that women do not take the time to just stop and look at their man and say, how is your mental today? How is your mental today? How are you feeling? How are you handling life? How are you dealing with the stress at work? How are you dealing with the stress at home? What can I do to take a load off your shoulders? Like, we always expect our man to be the leader, the provider, the protector, and we expect them to support us emotionally when we're going through something bad. But how often do we turn around and reciprocate the same that we expect from them?
I never really thought about that because I have recently. I get asked how my day is going. This as a recent, but I'm gonna go back to the situation that you encountered. I think that woman at that time put the pressure on the man, like, can you get this? And not even she wasn't loud, but there was an audience present still. So it puts the pressure on a man, and mentally, it can kind of mess him up. It's like, look, I'm working to get this, and a woman should know. It's like when you put your man on Front Street and you throw jabs at him, you're not a woman. I'm sorry, you're not a woman. If you can see that take jabs at them in public and not understand, like, in today's world is a struggle. It's a struggle.
Absolutely.
And there's still women out here that expect all these expectations from a man, but you got to realize, like, society has changed drastically.
Yep.
So preferably, we'd like a two-income household is preferred to make it strong. You can make it off one income, whether you're a man or woman. But I'm gonna tell you, society is making it where it's highly impossible. So, from a psychological aspect, from a man, we're looked at as a provider. So, when you can't provide, and a woman puts that extra struggle on you and kind of puts you out there on blast, it takes a mental shot at you. It does. It kind of destroys you, kind of, like, internally. And a woman's supposed to be like your aid and bring you up.
That's supposed to be your comfort. Your partner should be your comfort. Your partner should be your go-to. Like, that man should have been able to tell her one time, like, hey, we can't afford that right now. And then she should have left it alone. Like, I would have. If I know my man's working his tail off and he's paying all the bills and he's taking care of home, and we're out doing things, and I want something and we can't afford it at that moment. Okay, so when we can afford it, let's go back for it, right?
Right.
To shoot jabs and to I wouldn't. I mean, I guess humiliate him, right? Even though she wasn't talking loud, but I'm pretty sure there was a feeling of humiliation there. Like, you can't provide your woman something that she wants, so she's throwing a fucking temper tantrum, basically, right? Like,
yeah, and that's, as a man, that's when you just leave her ass at the store permanently. You leave her ass at the store.
I don't know about permanently. Don't leave her permanently, but
I don't know. You know what? I got these habits, right? So I go through, like, certain situations where, as a man, and there's the word respect. The word respect is, like, so huge to me, real huge. Like, a woman, and it's not all women, but
I got to tell you something real quick. You see that comment, right?
Yeah, I posted up.
Okay, let me just fill you in on this. So my internet, I've been having issues with, right? So I called Spectrum at like 8:00, and I was like, man, look, my internet's been cutting in and out. So anyway, he's like, yeah, I'm looking back. It's been happening since March. My line outside is like, it's weak. So I was like, look, dude, I'm fixing to go on a podcast in an hour. I need you to, like, reboot this, reset it. And then at the end, I was like, you want to come in and join? Like, you want to join the podcast? So there's the Spectrum guy. He joined the podcast.
What's up? What up, bro? What's going on? The Spectrum guy.
We all need someone to check on us from time to time. Amen. I agree.
Yeah, and that's true. I think that women look at men like, we don't need that kind of aid, like the mental health, where we can be checked on. We looked at to, like, carry this load. We looked at to do protector, right? We looked at to provide, right? We looked at to do so many things, but how often do someone check on us and say, hey, how's your mental health? How's this? How was that? Like, hardly ever is a man asked. We cover up a lot of stuff because most real men We're not emotional. We don't sit and like, oh baby, like we don't sit. We keep a lot of stuff in, which is not healthy. But it takes that certain special woman to check on you and get that out of you.
That is true.
So, and some women, I've seen this, right? And I've dealt with this. You be going through some stuff. Hey, what's wrong with you? I'd be like, nothing I figured out, you know. Okay. I'm like, I can't fucking believe she said fucking okay. What the fuck is
Okay, so that was the next thing, right? So that night when I was on TikTok and I'm telling that was the next thing. My next comment after that was, so when you have a woman who truly cares about you and truly loves you and understands you, she's going to tell when you're off. She's going to tell that the body language is different. She's going to tell that the way you're handling her is different. However, when we come to you and I get this, so this came up in this discussion that night. So when we come to you as your partner, as your woman, as whatever, and we're like, what's going on with you? And you're like, none, I don't want to talk about it. None, I don't want to talk about it. So at what point do we leave you alone so we don't piss you off? Or do we keep bothering you because we can tell that something's going on, but you don't want to open up about it?
That's good. That's a good thing because a lot of men do say they don't want to talk about it. Like, and I've done it before. Like, I don't want to talk about it right now. I'm not that like aggressive. Like, I don't want to talk about it. I might say I don't want to talk about it right now, but it kind of depends on like a woman's delivery though, on how she acts. That plays a lot because a lot of times a woman be like, "What's wrong with you?" And of course, as a man, you're not fucking about the response to a woman who's asking what's wrong with you with an attitude.
With an attitude.
So, and you're not about to answer that anyway. But sometimes it takes a woman approach. Sometimes you might be dealing with a sensitive ass man. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not gonna make it like with men on the victims all the time. You got some men out here that are pussies, and they don't know how to express themselves. They don't know how to do this. And I'm sorry, I can't speak up for pussy man. You gotta have some type of backbone. A woman can only do so much. So when you leave her with so much to do, you gotta kind of step up to the plate, pussy man. You can't act like you got a kitty cat. You gotta act like you got a backbone and a penis.
Absolutely.
And let me tell you something. I don't give advice. I'm not I'm not a person like a therapist, not like that. I just speak the fucking truth. We all been through stuff. We all got experiences. Because some therapists you meet, they got this happy life, ain't nothing went wrong, and they give you advice, and they don't know shit.
Bullshit. They're alcoholics and they're pill poppers. No, I'm just playing. But yeah, let me disclaimer too. I'm not a therapist. I've had several years of some mental health training, how to deal with mental health individuals in a career that I was in, but I am not a therapist. This is all off of life encounters, things that I watch other podcasts, people that I listen to, just things in life. But yeah, so a problem though is, let's talk about this one. So men are often raised. So there is a gentleman that I follow on TikTok, and he made this comment the other day. Men are raised thinking that they're weak when they show their emotions and their feelings. But in reality, it makes a man stronger, and it makes him it makes a man looks more secure when he can talk about his emotions and his feelings, right? Like, you know, if you have somebody who genuinely cares and they're asking you what's wrong, and not with an attitude, because I'm the type of person, I'm speaking for myself, not other females. If I'm with somebody and I feel their vibe is off, their tone is off, I'm going to ask you like, man, what's up? Like, I feel the difference. Like, is there anything you want to talk about? What's going on? Now, if you shut me down with an attitude and you're like, I don't want to talk about it, or don't worry about it, or I'll figure it out. Like, I'm only going to try so much, right? Because you can only shoot somebody down so much.
So I got a response to that. Before I respond, I'm gonna read Greg Jones' comment. He said, as a man, you condition at a young age to keep emotions in. As far as me, therapy helped me to open up and express. There's still a stigma though of expressing emotions that makes you appear weak. And I'm gonna piggyback onto what Greg said, right? So it is true. It kind of is a weakness for a man to show like emotion or or to talk or whatever to a woman. It is. It depends on the woman though, because you have people that will throw shit back in your face depending on the woman you're dealing with. I've seen women put other man's business out when they were pissed off. And it's certain things it's hard for men to open up. Even I'm gonna be honest with you, man that have male friends, It's hard to open up to another male friend. Now, for me, for example, last year, and then we talked before the show, I went through a tough stage last year, right? Nobody that kind of knew. They knew someone was off, but nobody knew about me dealing with like mental health issues. I was still doing podcasts. I was still out kicking it, but deep down, there was a dark side of me that was like, I thought I didn't need to be here. Now, been around a good circle, and this is a circle full of men and women that were friends and my kids. They helped me get through this dark stage, but I didn't open up about that until this year, 2023. Well, I want to talk about it because there's other guys that go through the same thing that I went through or something similar, and I'm telling you, as man to man, you got to find comfort in somebody. You got to find that comfort to feel to open up because men fear that certain shit will backfire on them if they really release how they truly feeling. Because you don't want to like release it and he weak as hell. Like that's the problem. We men go through things. We have to have some type of backbone to release that to. Because sometimes we keep those emotions in and it comes out at the very wrong times. And that's why sometimes men might lash out at their significant other because they keep emotions in. And sometimes women, they might be offended by it, but at the same time, if you know your man, see what's bothering him. Because if these like weird emotions, they're not normal, it's like something's going on.
Yeah.
But if your man can't communicate with that, so you don't have that connection, it's gonna be hard. But men, we find it hard to be like vulnerable. And let me tell you something too. Once we become vulnerable to a woman and open up, and a woman disrespect us and that it backfires, there's a very slim chance a man will open up to you a second time.
So that night we were having that discussion. That is the number one comment that was being made by the men in my life. They said they don't open up, or they don't open up because it gets thrown back in their face. So my rebuttal to that was, okay, so what happens when you meet a woman as myself, right? Because 13 years ago, I was an angry bitch, right? I can admit it. I was going through a horrible divorce. I had other shit going on in my life, and I was angry and mad at the world. But over the last 8 years, I've gone to therapy. I've gone and learned how to meditate, and I've found my peace, and I have found who I am, and I have learned to love myself, right? And so because I have done all that for myself, I am mentally strong enough and capable to ask my partner, like, what's going on? Let's talk about it, right? Mm-hmm. But when you get shut down, it kind of gets frustrating. And then you're like, okay, well, why don't you want to talk to me? Well, because the last bitch I was with, when I did open up and we got in an argument, that bitch threw that shit in my face, right? That's the response that you get. But it's also like, okay, but this is a new situation. You can't punish me for what somebody else did to you. Like, but I get that. As a man, where do you become comfortable enough to be vulnerable with your new person? Because so many people in the past have shot you down or have backfired and thrown that shit in your face. That's something that I asked, and that was the number one thing. Like, nah, once a bitch throws that shit back in my face, I ain't telling nobody else nothing.
I don't think so. I wouldn't say nobody else. I think that particular woman. So I've dated a few women where I was a little bit vulnerable, and they kind of like did some things. I'm like, oh hell no! Now being vulnerable with them will never again exist.
Yeah,
that's why I can never like. It depends on what happened. So there'll be a second chance that particular woman. You could probably open up with the next woman, and when you open up to the next woman, you observe. You're in the observing stage, man, at first, right? You talk to this woman, you get to know them. You kind of observe and see what type of woman they are, how they carry themselves. Are they a listener, or is she all about herself? A man will sit and observe, and we do all these things internally. We're not gonna sit and tell you, yeah, we're observing you to see if we can open up. We're not gonna do that shit. We're gonna keep everything internal. We're gonna watch. We indirectly be watching. And I'm like, damn, she cool. I can sit and talk to her. After a while, we probably open up again slowly. See, with men, we're not emotional where I can't talk to nobody. Well, we do this shit. We're not gonna do that. We'll keep it in and we go observe, and we either go be vulnerable at one point or we're not. But we're not gonna sit there and we're gonna talk about it. You're gonna watch a woman, how she moves, how she carry herself, right? How she what she do in the household. Is she clean? Is she dirty? You look at a lot of shit. A lot of factors come into place. And once you get comfortable again, you slowly become vulnerable. You let it out little by little, especially if she's that one. Now, fortunately, these days, a lot of women ain't that one.
Man. I'm gonna say I agree with you because I got some friends that I'm like, I wouldn't even call them friends. I have acquaintances that I sit back and observe things on, and I'm like, you complain about not being able to keep a relationship, but I see why. Like, so the problem is though, let's talk about this for a second because this has a lot to do with everything. Is hurt people, and there's so many unhealed people walking around that instead of getting out of one situation and healing yourself, they go from one situation to the next because why? They don't want to be alone, or they want some, let's just put it out there, they want some ass when they can have it. And so they know if they jump back into the next situation, they're going to have what they're going to have, right?
Right.
But there's so many hurt people hurting people because they don't want to work on themselves. And that comes back into the mental health play. Like, why is it a stigma for men to go to therapy? Why is it such a stigma for men to seek counseling? Like, I get it, right? It's the tearing down, I guess, of the masculine shell.
Yeah.
But goddamn, take care of your mental health. Like, you can't be good for yourself in a family, or you can't be good for your family if you can't be good for yourself. Like, how do you expect to have a successful relationship, right? Without being able to successfully like yourself,
Right. So my brother told me this in a phone conversation. You say you can't love, you gotta love yourself. And I think you just said it. You gotta love yourself before you love anybody, right? You just said that, right? And you just said you gotta heal yourself before you get into another situation. And I think that the Most High put people in certain positions at a certain time, for you to go through some things so you can move on and be with that right person. You're gonna go through things. First of all, I was telling this today to someone. You're gonna go through pain, right? Because you got your body, you're gonna have to learn how to deal with pain. That is life.
it's part of life.
Our life. You go through some pain. So it's gonna adjust your brain, the thinking, and find the right person, especially as a man. If we actually out there actively like looking, the pain and the stuff you went through, you can take into your possession, sort it out when you meet the next woman. Like, you know what? I want my woman to be this, that, and the other, right? I want to be able to talk to my woman. So certain characteristics that you're gonna look for in a woman that, okay, I can talk to her. Here's the thing. Men at some point want to be vulnerable. It's all about being vulnerable with the right woman because we're not going to put ourselves out there. I just saw this Jessica comment. She said, "Heal before jumping into another."
My best friend. Hey, bestie. Thank you for joining.
Oh, why is it so hard for a man to take accountability? Ooh, he said, "Why is it so hard for a man to take accountability?"
Yeah, no.
Oh, I don't. You know what? So Jessica, I'm gonna say this. Um, I just started taking accountability like recently. Like fuck it. Like what am I gonna lie for? What's the purpose of lying about little shit or anything? I take accountability because guess what? If I tell you the truth, we don't have an episode later. So if I do something wrong, I fuck up. I'm gonna be honest with you. Here's the thing I'd like to say. I'm an open book. Ask me any questions. I'm gonna be honest. You might not like my direct answers, my blunt answers, but I'm gonna tell you like it is. And if I'm wrong about something, the best thing for me to do is to take accountability for it. I don't make excuses. I used to be that person though. I ain't gonna lie. I used to be that man. Well, but this. Well, if you would have did this, I would have did that. But
Yeah.
right now, after going through my episode last year, if like a real mental health episode, I've kind of learned, that hey, you got to take accountability for some things you do because everything is not the other person's fault. And the thing is, like my injury, I'm off work. I want to get paid. Who fault is that? Who the fuck told me to go out and play football like I'm fucking going to the NFL and tearing up my knee? Did anybody tell me to do that? I'm doing that shit for fun. So I told my shit.
Especially flag football. Just saying.
It's contact flag football. Let's get it right.
Okay.
It's contact flag football. It was contact. That's why my ass got hurt.
Real quick, I want to shout out to Max Ghost checking in. I believe he's from TikTok. So I've been going live promoting, and like I tell everybody, it costs $0 to show some support. So come and support. So let me just shout that out real quick because I see he checked in. So appreciate that.
Appreciate y'all for checking in. So yeah, as Justin said, right, it makes no sense to lie about nothing. But no, seriousness though. I went out there, got hurt, and Jay, it was contact flag football. It was still
My bad, pimping, my bad.
it was physical, but no.
I just heard the flag part, and I'm like, nobody, look, almost 40 years old. Nobody told you to go. No, I'm
I
just
know,
kidding.
I almost got that fucked up. But when I got hurt, I couldn't blame nobody. Like, I'm like, who the fuck can I blame? Who the fuck can I blame? If somebody I can blame, I'm like, you know what? I gotta blame me because my old ass is out there thinking I'm fucking like what? I was about to say the goddamn. I'm not Aaron Hernandez. That motherfucker killed somebody. Not Aaron Gronkowski.
There you go.
I don't know why the hell Aaron Hernandez comes.
That's funny.
Hell
So she talking about the accountability, right? I heard something earlier that I wrote down, and I want to repeat this. I heard somebody say, my trauma is my responsibility, right? So when you have somebody who comes into your life and they're willing to support your healing, allow them to be there for your support, but it's not their responsibility to help fix you.
So it's not their responsibility to help fix you. So what role do they play as a listener? They're not helping fix you. They're just listening to you. Like they play a role of a therapist.
So they're there to be your support, right? I mean, so going back to what you said a minute ago, you take accountability, right? And, if somebody asks you a question and don't get your feelings hurt by the answer. So the person that I'm seeing in my life right now, he's the same way. We've been very transparent about how we need to communicate things and how we need to be respectful of each other. And that's the one thing he told me. You can always ask me anything, and I will always answer you honestly. Just don't get upset if I give you an answer that you don't like, right?
Right.
So I have to accept that, and I have to understand that if he is going through anything or if there is any trauma, that's his place to fix it. But my responsibility, if this is who I want to build with, I need to be there as his backbone to support that. But I can't fix him. Not saying that he needs fixing. I'm just using that as an example, right?
Right. So it's up to the person to want to fix themselves to be fixed, right?
Absolutely. That's part of taking accountability.
Exactly. Part of taking accountability. The problem is in America and man's mental health, especially, I think Jessica said it earlier. We don't. Well, I'm gonna say men and women. They don't take accountability, especially a lot of women. Trust me, I don't want to go in my situation, my past. But in the past, I've dealt with people like I told you like earlier, I could do like 100 things right. Well, out of 100 things, I could do like 96 things right. But there was 4 fucking things. Oh, if you would have did this, you would have did this is like
Yeah.
now that's men's mental health, right? That word, it came out early. Unappreciative women can affect a man's mental health. Unappreciative women can affect a man's mental health because you look astonished like, what the fuck else do I need to do to get her to like, and I know everybody got a different love language. I understand that. But you cannot ignore a man's effort when he's trying to put a smile on your face.
Absolutely.
And when a man tries to put a smile on your face and it goes like ignored or unappreciated, it kind of like sends them in a place where like that's another reason a man won't be vulnerable as well. That's another reason a man won't open up to a woman. Once he's doing things like, for example, my situation, right? Doing all these nice things, and that's me as a person. I don't do nice things to gain points, to do things. I grew up in a household where I saw my dad do nice things for my mom. I got 2 other brothers I saw do nice things for women. I grew up in a positive household where I see men do nice things that treat their women like queens. As a result, me who I am today in a relationship with a woman, when I get there, I do a lot of nice things because that's who I am as a person. I think when you start a relationship and you say, hey, I want you to be my woman, that's not a good shit start. I had people tell me this though, well, maybe you should wait to reveal everything. No, once I actually know a woman, I'm gonna show you the man I am right away with consistency down the line. I'm gonna show you who I am. It starts now. It's not a fucking game where, oh, be my girlfriend. I'm waiting till the 4th quarter and show you who I am at the end when you probably fed up and shit. That shit starts, hey, be my girlfriend at tip off. We can play this game forever. I'm gonna show you who I am as a man consistently, and it goes get better and better and better and better once I get to learn you in the process. So when a man opens up like that, and a woman's like, "Yeah, I don't know," what motivation do a man have to continue to do these things?
Exactly. That's that's that would be grounds for me to be like, if I was a man and I'm doing all this and that man's the same way, I'm like, I'm out. Like, I'm gone. However, let's talk about this for a second. Often at times you run into a situation where a man will so what's the topic for those who are tapping in? So that
It's
just
not about men's mental health and relationship. I think it's Cochran or Q Cochran.
yeah, men's mental health and relationships. So a lot of the times the men will do everything they need to do in the beginning to swoon you and get you in, but the consistency starts to fall off. And
Yeah.
and that's
But does
something.
the woman give up the draws though?
Huh?
So I'm gonna cut in right there because some men do shit when they trying to get the panties, and once they are delivered the panties, they have a tendency to slack off. Like I got what I want.
Yep.
So as women, you kind of gotta watch out for those type of guys.
You do, but it's kind of hard sometimes. Like somebody can show you who you think they are a really good person in the beginning, and then boom, like it's done, right? But so earlier I was having a conversation with the Mister too, and I told him I was like, I just want you to know you're awesome today, and he's like, really, you really think so? And I was like, just know that this is something I'm going to tell you every day. Like it's never going to stop. It's the consistency, the boosting you and letting you know how you make me feel and what you mean to me is never going to stop. He's like, really? It's not but that's the problem. Sometimes on both ends, the consistency stops. The person who I am today,
Oh, he was awesome.
huh?
You told him he was awesome.
Yeah. Every morning I send him if we don't get to talk, well, we do talk every morning. He wakes me up with a phone call, but I tell him every morning, you're highly favored, you're awesome, you're blessed, like, and you're loved. Don't forget that. Like, that's very important. That's part of boosting your man's mental health.
That's dope. I don't think I ever been told that before.
Nobody's ever told you that you're awesome. Nobody.
No.
Wow. That's
I don't
sad.
think I had somebody called and told me like, "Hey, I want to let you know that you're awesome today." Those are big words to me too.
Yeah. Like, I feel like it's, hold on, I'm trying to send somebody a link real quick.
All right, now you are good. No, that I don't. It's pretty. I think that like, well, I can only speak from my perspective though. If you send a man a message, "Hey, you're awesome today. I want to let you know that I appreciate you." I think people probably felt appreciated before. Like, I think I might have like maybe a friend might have told me that before. Like to be in a relationship though, and somebody tell you that, "Hey, I want to let you know you're awesome" and everything like that. I don't think that ever. That's how I remember something. I don't know. I will remember that though. Like somebody call and tell me, "Hey, you're awesome." I might cry. Like, oh shit.
Really? Yes. Like,
I
I
won't
feel
cry
like
for
it's very important. It's very important. So, you if you want, it all starts with a friendship, right? Like you have to have a solid foundation. And so if you want your person to know that they mean something to you and you want them to know how much you appreciate them and how grateful you are of them, like they're not mind readers. You got to fucking speak up. Like, speak up.
You mean speak up and like say what?
Like I just said, you said that nobody's ever just told you that you're awesome.
I don't want to nobody to tell them awesome. I want people to come out that naturally. You know what I'm
I
saying?
get that. I get that. But at the same time, I feel like it's very important to let your person know every day how much. I don't know how many times you've been on my live on TikTok, but I close out my live every day. I get on my Snapchat every morning and I tell everybody to have a blessed day. And I end my topic or whatever I'm talking about with these couple of things. I always say, love your people while they're here, flower your people while you have them. It costs you $0 to be kind. And remember, tomorrow's not promised. So if, God forbid, I was driving to work tomorrow morning and I didn't get to make that phone call, or I didn't get to shoot him that little message that was like, hey, I just want you to know I appreciate the person that you are. Like, you're awesome, you're kind, you're highly favored, you're loved, all of that. Like, if something was to happen to me, I would want my person to know that this is how I feel about them. I would never want them to doubt, man, I wonder if she really cared about me. Like, and again, that's part of boosting your mental health, because if there's a doubt about how your person feels about you, like, how can you honestly be happy in that situation? Because I like reassurance. Like, I want to know that I'm who you want to talk to every day. I want to know that I'm
Amen.
the person that matters to you, and that I'm the person that means the world to you. Because if I know all that, baby, the type of energy that you're about to get from me, you gonna be trying to replace this ring. That's all I'm saying, right? That's all
Right.
I'm
Hey,
saying.
you know what though? Reassurance. You just said that reassurance. Just to hear those words. It's crazy. I'm gonna read this comment though before I go ahead. Cause an appreciative woman will be given the world at her feet. Hey, that's the comment. That's a comment right there. What he said? An appreciative woman will be given the world at her feet. That is like 500% facts. Cuzzle said it. I've been saying it. He said it. Appreciative woman will be given the world at her feet.
But
The
look at that next comment he wrote. That we were just talking about consistency, right? How a man will get you where he wants you, and then that consistency starts to fall. And then the same thing with a woman. And that's what, like I said, I'm going back to what I told him earlier when I was like, "You're awesome." And I want you to know that. And that consistency is always going to be there. And he's like, really? Well, why wouldn't it be? Like, why am I going to start off being this person and change into this person? Like, you're getting who the fuck you get right now. Like, this is me. Okay. I might be an asshole sometimes if I'm upset, but other than that, this is who you're getting. So
I
the
like you said, they're good
consistency.
to retain a person, but not consistent enough to retain one. Whoa, I like that. My brother, for the man. I'm reading Jessica comment. She said, make it make sense. It's so easy to be ugly and mean instead of giving out positive energy to everyone and being polite as human nature. And I,
You know why? Because misery loves misery.
yeah,
Misery loves misery. I had a conversation with one of my girls from work today. Misery loves misery. It's so easy to try to fuck something up when you see somebody else happy instead of fixing yourself and making your own happiness. That's why.
so let me say some of this. So, in my situation, when you, like I said before, when you turn the key and you actually become involved in a relationship, it's time to treasure that person. You got to turn it up a notch. It's not the dating phase, and it's not that I'm now. You still get to know a person every day. No matter if it's 1 2 years, you still get to know somebody. But when you decide as a man, particularly the man that asks the woman to be their significant other, when you decide to turn that key and bring that woman kind of more into your world, now you got to show that woman even more for you. You got to be consistent, and you like you say, men change. So I think that men that is more sincere show different qualities than men that have a purpose. And the men that have a purpose, you kind of got to catch them because when they're doing something like look at, for example, being romantic, right? Doing something thoughtful. You got to realize this, and this happened. I know a lot of guys. I know men with money, and a lot of men with money will let the money speak. You don't need money to do something special all the time for a woman, right? You don't have to spend money. It's the small and the little things that matter, the thoughtful things, and the guys that do that are the guys to like turn the eye like, No, so most girls, right? That some I know want to go to Ruth Chris. These expensive. Oh, he took me to the steakhouse. Blah blah. That's because he fucking got it. You don't have to do no romantic. He can take you to a steakhouse and you think it is shit, and you buy this expensive purse, and that's like romantic to you. But a man that goes out their way to plan the little things to make you feel special, and pay attention to the little details that a woman talk about is the man to watch. So, for example, you might get up and like, man, I think I'm gonna get my pedicure today or whatever. And let's say your guy be like, hey, babe, I got us appointments for pedicures. Let's go get a pedicure together. It's like little stuff like that. Let's get our pedicures together.
Absolutely.
And it's surprise. That's like the little stuff that matters that people don't pay attention to in relationships. Me, for example, I heard my lady, she's like, my feet jacked up. She made a comment about her feet. So I'm like, hey, I make appointments. Let's go get pedicures together. It's just that simple. It's called listening, active listening. That's what it's called, active listening.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, So I'm that type of person, right? I'm very observant. I like to sit back and listen. If I'm riding with you and you're talking about certain things, if I hear about your favorite snacks, like let's say for instance, you love Little Debbie snacks, right? Baby, when you come home from work, you about to have every one box of each on top of the refrigerator because you love Little Debbie snacks, right? It's the small things that matter. And like that's something that I say all the time. Like there are some females out there. I've encountered a few of them in my life. They go for the men that are wearing a Rolex watch, and they go for men who are doing this and doing that, and at the end of the day, they're miserable as fuck. Like monetary things only get you so far. If you die tomorrow, you can't take that shit with you. I would rather have love, peace, and happiness over a fucking Rolex watch. Like, I'll take my little Invicta watch, right? I don't need a Rolex. I got something that tells time. I have a phone that tells time. But there's so many, and men are some men are the same way too. They only date women who look a certain type of way, carry themselves a certain type of way, but they're miserable as fuck. Miserable as fuck. And it's sad, but it's the little things that matter. I'm telling you, like the other day I got a little $20 Cash App and it said, "I'm not here to take you to lunch, but lunch is on me today." That made me cry like a little bitch. I'm like, damn. Somebody took time out of my day just to shoot me a little message and send me $20 to go give me lunch. Like, nobody, you didn't have to do that. That's $20 that you worked hard for. That $20 may have taken you an hour to make. Yeah. And you just spent that $20 on me. Like, it's the small things that count. And a lot of people don't understand that.
You mentioned favorite snacks, right? So it's like going to the store and you getting something, knowing that your significant other like the same thing. Mm-hmm. And to be at the store and to get them something along with what you got, it's just the considerate things. Be considerate. Those are the ones to look out for, that pay attention to stuff like that. Like the guys, like you say, for guys, they're not consistent, but some guys that really are into you, they pay attention to small details and things, and they know things about you, and they will put you before them. In all seriousness, they will put you before them. They'll go out their way. They will sacrifice shit. Those are the guys to look out for. They're being out there to redo it, and those men need to do it for the right women. So right woman, because some women out here expect guys to go the extra fucking mile, but won't lift the finger to do a goddamn thing. But they have all these expectations that the man's supposed to serve them and do this and that. But it's like, when do you go get back? And I think he said it earlier. Like it's reciprocating energy. I can't remember who said that. I can't remember the comments.
But go back up or no?
It goes back up. I can't remember who said that. But it's like, yeah, a man can do all this, but what does a woman get in return? Like you said, you listening, you have this snacks, that shit matters. It's like you giving energy back and forth. It motivates a relationship and keep a relationship going. See, this is my thing. People change, and I know your relationship have to change, but you got to kind of like grow with it. But this shit is so easy. It's the little things we talk about. Pay attention to the little things, keeping each other happy, keep each other motivated. But for me, I'm gonna do. I like doing things. If you fucking appreciate what I do for you in general, that's motivation.
Yep.
Period. That's motivation. Like,
yep.
Like, so for example, I'm doing all these nice things. I'm not asking for a fucking Nobel Peace Prize. I'm not asking for that. I'm gonna read Greg Jones' comment real quick. Get to his comment. He said, "Treat your relationship like a bank account. You make deposits daily to build positive balance. Some days you make withdrawals. Try to make sure it doesn't go negative." I like that.
That's a very good point.
I like that. That's good. And this a man who is comfortable with who he is inside has no problem showing honesty outside.
Baby, say it again.
Damn.
Same thing for a woman.
Jewels in here tonight, baby.
Telling you.
They dropping jewels. So I like what Greg said, that a bank account, make deposits daily, make sure they're going to negative. And damn, that's like so cold to me, because I'm like,
that's part of the reassurance. That's part of the, hey, you're awesome. That's part of the coming home to your favorite snacks. Those are all deposits that you're making into this account that you're trying to build with each other, right?
I'm learning tonight. I'm learning some shit tonight. I'm learning.
Look, I was ready for this conversation, boy. Look, hold on. Let me share with them real quick. When I was on my cruise, I didn't only just enjoy my time frying in the sun. But let me just show y'all. I was brainstorming, okay? Like I was out there meditating. I prayed out there every morning, every night when I would watch the sun try to go down out in the middle of the ocean. This is a huge topic because a lot of people don't talk about it. And like I said, I can say I've been guilty of it in my marriage when I was married. I didn't. There were times where I never stopped to ask my ex-husband, like, how are you today? How is your mental? And so that really had me thinking, like, us women can be selfish as fuck because we expect our man to be everything, our provider, our protector, everything. And so, Cuzzo makes a good point. A man who's comfortable with who he is has no problem being honest. And I don't know. It's just, we live in a fucked up world, right? I always get asked, like my ex-husband actually asked me a couple weeks ago. I had to meet him to go get some stuff for my son. And he was like, damn, nigga, you ain't married? You still ain't married yet? Like, you were a good wife and you're a good person. I'm like, yeah, but I expect my partner to be able to reciprocate what I put out there. And it's trash. The dating game these days is trash. It's hard because, like I said, hurt people. And there's a lot of unhealed people walking around. I've healed myself. I've learned how to love myself. I've learned who I am. And so I'm not going to settle. I don't deserve to settle. I want somebody who's going to fill my bank account. And I'm not talking about with money. I want somebody who's going to pour into me like I'm going to pour into them. Like I said earlier, what do we say about watering grass? Water your own motherfucking grass. Because that pasture over there might be green right now, but once you stop watering that shit's going to die.
It's going to die.
It's going to die.
It's going to die. So, all right. I talk about this on like a lot of my podcasts, right? And I know some people is watching. No, always bring this up. I have this theory, and I call it the shape theory, right?
Uh-oh.
And it's because
notepad.
There it is. So it's the way the world is right now, right? And I don't want to go deep into this because I want to get too branch off the topic, but it deals with mental health with the gender thing they got doing, right? So you see not only the transgender thing, right? So I tell people options for women, it's getting slimmer, right? I say this all the time. You got prison system, a lot more men are locked up. Now you got they making this LGB. I don't know the letters. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I don't care. They got that going on. A lot of men are transforming. So women are looking for leaders. They're looking for men. They're looking for leaders. In today's world, as of 2023, we don't have many leaders as men out there. And I'm talking about actual men. I'm talking about actual leaders. There's not enough for women out there. So it's not an actual fight, but you know what I'm saying? It's slim. So the circle, this is a little small circle. Men have more options because you have more mature women out there that's ready and available, waiting for somebody to give them that energy so they can be submissive. I think that, let's say, for example, and I'm just throwing a stat out here, right? Let's say you meet 10 dudes, I meet 10 women. Out of 10 women I meet, I want to say I could probably get about 4 or 5 that's ready. Out of 10 men you meet, shit, it might be a flat 0.
What?
Flat 0.
You know, like I said, I've been divorced 8 years. I ain't remarried yet. So that says a whole lot.
Listen, out of those 10 men, because you don't want no man fucking wearing a purse with you, wearing leggings and shit, wearing your clothes. I'm quite sure you don't want that shit. Nobody will no real one wants a king dressed like a fucking queen. And if you take disrespect to that, too bad. So no one wants that though. That's not a king. That's not the quality. You don't want a man that is a baby boy that can't handle responsibility, and you got to take on the fucking masculine role. Yep. That's why we got a lot of masculine women who become masculine, because they got to take on these roles because men can't live up to the hype they supposed to. They're not traditional no more. So the circle gets smaller and smaller. There's great men out here, but for women, it's like a fucking treasure hunt. It's become a treasure hunt. Now you got this thing. I know you see on TikTok, the Passport Brothers, right? And the Passport Brothers. I don't know. Have you seen it on TikTok? The man is going overseas and.
Oh yeah.
So they call us the Passport Brothers, right? And I actually been sitting on TikTok and I read these comments. I'm thinking like, why do these men come over here? And I read some things and I talked to some people. So here's the thing: what I got. American women, not all, but American women, and I'm gonna put it out there, especially black women, they're like too masculine. That's what the thing is. Women are too masculine. And I'm just speaking facts of what I've heard from people. So they go overseas, right? And I've been over in other countries. So they meet women who's probably getting treated, that they outnumber men in most cases in most of these countries, right? So these women are like ready to be wives, just not enough men that's ready. They got the same issue in their country because a lot of men treat them like shit. So you get the American guy to come over there that's like true leader. They marry a lot of women outside the country, not just black men, Hispanic, white. It's like it's a trend. I don't know if it's a trend and everybody's doing, but a lot of people are like leave the country. They're doing this, and that's making the number for women even much smaller in that circle. So society is creating this fucking mess with this that community and all this other bullshit, like putting men and women against each other. I think, and that's in America especially. I'm gonna call it what it is, America.
Yeah.
So you got this masculine women that's overly masculine, men that's fucking overly feminine, dressed like little fairies. So, like, what do you have? Like, what's going on in this dating world? Like, how does that mess with a man's like mental health relationship? Like, a true man that's trying to find a true queen by his side, his little, the front seat passenger. So when you see what America is doing as a man, you're like, damn, like me myself, I just want to just like do good things, be the person I am, and have a woman just feel like they're special. See the woman smile, I feed off that energy. I feed off that. What I want makes a difference, but seeing a woman smile, I just feed off that energy. It motivates me to do more. That, oh babe, thanks. I love this. Blah blah blah. To see a smile, I'm like, I'm gonna turn it up a notch now. She's
See, and
smiling.
I'm the same way. When you make me smile, I'm ready to make you smile back. And like that should just keep going back and forth. That's that 100, not 50-50. 100,
Yeah.
right?
That's that hidden competition. Oh, she did this. Like shit, I gotta make her smile.
Right.
Yeah, people. Ooh, it's a lot. This topic could be like it can go deeper, and I didn't want to get too deep, like into like what society has done and the gender stuff and everything, because it can go real deep into a man's mental health. Because like, man, I don't know, like what I'm gonna be honest, and I'm gonna side with women on this. You don't have a lot of leaders as men today. You don't. It's not. It's real scarce.
So I want to tap into something when it comes to that because you made the comment about men being transgender. You made the comment about our prison system is growing, right?
Mm.
So my ex-husband, he had gone to prison before I ever met him, and I feel like sadly, some good men that have fucked up, and a lot of us have fucked up and have never been caught, you know?
Right.
So I feel like a lot of the time, because there are men who go to prison and they come out reformed. And like Mr. Cochran, that's a friend of mine. I've known him for years, he can speak on this. We have other friends that we've grown up with. There are men that have gone to prison, gotten an education and a career, and they've come home and they've rebuilt their life. And I feel like a lot of the time, those men are passed up because of the stigma that they've been to prison.
But
You know?
those are still good men though.
They are good
When I
men.
say men that go to prison, I'm saying like men that's currently in prison now that's not available to women because you
Yeah.
can't go out and meet one. You have men that come to prison that reform, they come out, and that is no judgment on them. Everybody go through shit in life, but they're good men to go reform. They're good dudes, and those are good options for women. I think that some of these masculine women overlook them because they think they're better than them. A lot of masculine women just overlook them, and that deals with a man mental. Like, who the fuck does she think she is? But you got a lot of women that turn those up like, But here's the
Oh my
thing, though.
God, he's been to prison. I can't talk to him. Like, you know?
I'm gonna read this thing because I mentioned something about the passports, and Cochran said this. That's what men are doing nowadays, getting that passport to go overseas and find a traditional woman. That's what it is, traditional. Men, kings want more traditional women, but it's hard to find a traditional woman in this era. Like like the things you've been talking about today. Who you can find a woman that listens that will have the little fucking Debbie cakes on top of a thing. Woman, listen, like that shit means You don't understand for a man's mental to have something like a woman surprise you, like, hey babe, I got you this, I got you this, I got you this energy drink. That shit means a lot. Like for a woman to just step up and do little things. In a sense, like man, we're not gonna cry, but like, eh. But deep down, it's gonna hit us to a point where fuck, damn, she's good. And as time go by and it becomes consistent and you get the energy back, you be like, shit,
Yep.
like what do I do? Like, damn, this is crazy. But the thing is, men, just like you're not used to coming across a good man, a good heart, it's vice versa too. When a man come across a woman that's actually what Cochran described as traditional woman, we in stun phase. Like, shit, she is traditional. I see once I just let her know who I am and treat her like a queen,
Yep.
like she opens slowly, opens a
See,
gate.
I was raised by my grandparents, right? I watched my grandpa love my grandma till the day she died. She actually passed away in a vehicle with him while they were driving home from up north. Like they were together every day. So I always tell people I want the old school love because I watched my grandparents. I can't remember a time that I ever saw my grandparents fight. Like as time went on in life, they ended up living in two separate houses just because whatever their decision was to do that, but they were together every single day. Like my grandpa would come to my grandma's house every morning for breakfast, or vice versa. He would pick her up. Like I want that traditional love. And he's right. A lot of people go across looking for traditional, but the problem is this goes back to the hurt people hurt people. There's so many people that have hurt other folks. And I can speak on myself. The last 5 years of my marriage, I had to become the husband and the wife and the mom and the dad. My ex-husband became a bad alcoholic, and I had to put on my masculine pants to make sure that my bills were paid and my son was taken care of, and I had to figure things out for myself, right? So it's sad that people go overseas to find something traditional when if they would just stop fucking people up here in the country, you would find traditional, right?
Yes, exactly. Now,
But there's too many broken people walking around that don't want to take the time to heal themselves.
well, I think the masculine women overshadow the real traditional women in the United States. They're the loudmouths on social media. Social media do fuck it up for a lot of people because they're the loudmouths on social media. Oh, this man, I don't want my man got to make 80. Here's the thing, and I saw some podcast. I saw some podcast, right?
Ugh.
And that makes a man mental. Ask a woman how much you want a man to make, right? And a woman will probably give you a figure like I want to make 50, 60, 80. But ask a woman,
Bitch makes $13 an hour.
but
Just saying.
just
Just saying.
nothing is wrong with that. If he make $13 an hour, but he leads through prayer, he fixes things around the house, he prays with you at night, he makes sure you're safe, you feel comfortable, he has your heart. That's what matters.
No,
Money,
you missed what I said. You
what?
said a woman will say that she wants her man to make 50, 60, 80,000 a year. I said, but that bitch is only making $13 an hour.
Oh, she make $13 an hour.
She
Oh, I
expects all this, but she working at fucking Whataburger flipping burgers. Like, come on now.
But that's
You got to have a reality when it comes to life, especially in our economy. Like, how do you, come on now?
yeah. But the thing is, when people don't speak, how many people you know you come across, you meet, and I've done this. I actually so like okay, the girl I'm talking to right now. Before I even start talking to her, one of the things I asked her is that, what is your opinion, your thing on me leading spiritually, praying? Do you have a problem with that? It's one of the first things I ask. Do you have a problem with that? Because as I told you before, I tried a situation where a woman didn't believe in God at all. And man, she was a good woman. But when it come through going through things, I could not be there for her because my way of dealing with things is
Give
prayer,
it to God.
leave it to God's hands, and let's go. Let's roll. So that's why now I'm like, hey, I asked about God. That's one of the first things I ask. I don't fucking care about how much money a woman make. I don't fucking care. So here's the thing, and this is how society is. Men, and I saw this on the podcast. I can't think what's this guy's name? I can't think about it. But men don't not concerned about how much a woman make at all. We don't care about how much a woman make. What we know is a woman is a traditional. That's why, like Cochran said, they go overseas to find a traditional woman. They want traditional woman. They don't give a fuck about how much a woman make, whether it's 8, 13, 40, 50, 100,000. Who fucking cares? Can I find a traditional woman? Now, vice versa, and I'm saying this because the masculine women overshadow the more submissive women. They're like, well, I want a man to make 67,000. He got to give me this, got to give me that. You got a lot of that, but there are the women who traditionals like stuck in between the cracks of these fucking masculine creatures, and the men like, what are you at? I'm gonna go overseas. Fuck it, you know what I'm saying? But what I think is a man don't care what a woman makes. Can you keep a household clean? And for me, can you keep a bathroom clean? Like you gotta keep a bathroom clean. I can't be coming to your house taking the shit in the bathroom. No.
I want to touch on real quick when you said about the praying. Can you lead them in prayer? Mm-hmm. Let me just tell you, I was on my cruise 4 nights and 5 days. Those 4 nights, not being able to pray with him, I felt so alone, like so alone. And there was one night where I think he had fallen asleep or something. He had worked a long day and he fell asleep and we didn't get to pray. And the next morning I was like, excuse me, we didn't get to pray last night. But that's something that I lacked in my marriage, right? So when his issue started becoming the issue at hand, I would ask him like, let's pray about it. But he didn't have time for that. He needed to go run the streets and go be an alcoholic and do all the shit that he needed to do instead of turning to God for the mental health that he was going through and the things that he was dealing with. Instead of trying to deal with that, it was the alcohol. So a man that will pray with you and pray for you that's something that I want in my life. I'm gonna tell you right now, when I told my mama about this person, she's like, please tell me he believes in God. First thing she asked.
Things, yeah.
Absolutely he does. And I sent her a little video of him the other day. So the little Debbie snacks I was talking about, right? She told him a little secret about you take an oatmeal cream pie and you put it in the microwave for 7 seconds and it makes it better. And he started singing the Jesus and Me. And I sent her that video and it just tickled her to death because this man is like singing about Jesus, right?
Right.
But that is something that I feel when I say I want to let him know every day how much I appreciate him, that's part of that because he doesn't know this yet. So if he's watching, he's gonna see this. But that was definitely something that I lacked in my marriage. And the fact that he prays with me every night
that's powerful.
I don't even know how to give him the flowers for that. Like how do you thank somebody for that? Because he doesn't know what it means to me. But it's something that just does something for my heart and my soul. Like you're pouring into me like I need to be poured into.
It's powerful. Yeah. And so how many women they can say that they have that? So another thing too, so right, you meet a person, I know you said people need to be healed first. So people used to being like screwed over. So for example, right, I do nice things, right? And my lady's like, oh, you don't have to do that. It's like, what are you talking about? That's what I do. This is what I do. Like, I'm not doing it to like gain points. It's like I'm doing it because this is what I'm supposed to do. This is my job. You know what I'm saying? As a man, I'm supposed to make you secure and everything. So I'm doing things. If I see something that's wrong, I address it. I don't need your like permission. So I'm like, I'm gonna address it. I'm gonna pray. That's what it do. That's what a real man does, and that's what you're getting. You're getting that like that rare treatment that a man really gets. Like you don't have people asking like what they want in prayer and everything. Like you don't have that. Like it's rare. How many people you know that meet somebody and like, hey, I want do you believe in God? Like that's a rare question that's rarely asked when you meet somebody. Do you believe in God?
That was actually one of the first couple of topics that we talked about when we started just getting to know each other was about God. Because he told me straight up, if you don't believe in God and I can't deal with you. I'm like, well, honey, I was raised in a home where we believe in God. So, yeah. What did Kilo say? He said a lot of men, do you want to put that comment up?
I'll put up there.
A lot of men find it hard for women in general to submit. The problem is they want them to submit their mind when in all honesty, a woman is meant to submit to as his wisdom. Yeah. Like So I'm the type of woman, if I trust you and you've shown me that I don't have a worry in the world, and again, I ain't talking about financially, I'm talking about in every aspect feeding into me. Um, it is hard to be submissive. It is because, like I told you, I had to put on those masculine pants and I had to be the mom and dad and the husband and wife. But
Right.
the right man will make you submit, and I will submit for the right person. And I feel like pretty much every woman probably would. But again, there's not a lot of those right people out here anymore.
That's the problem. And that's the problem. And I think that's why we're going up early to the early comment. That's a lot of guys go find the more traditional. Or there are guys that honestly that want to settle down. Like the times of like, I'm gonna keep 100. The times of fucking multiple women and all that shit. For me, like that's not a thing for me. Like I think I told earlier, I'm a pretty fucking nasty man. I don't want to be nasty with like 5, 10. That's a one. There's one. Let me be super nasty to her. But that's just what it is. There's too much shit going on. But it's honestly, so I'm gonna tell you the story. I'm not going to details of who it is. So I had this guy, I was leaving a certain work establishment, and he has like, man, this girl sent these pictures out the blue, like, damn, she want me to come over, blah, blah, blah. So I told them, I'm like, after you go over there and you fuck this girl, what are you gonna accomplish? How are you gonna feel? What would be the purpose after you bust a nut? Like, what's next?
That's another one off the checklist.
He looked at me. So I said, not only that, you have to go home, you got to see your girl, and what's next?
Oh wait, he has a girl.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But I'm saying, like, what you're gonna go home, look a girl in the face, and what are you gonna be? What are your reactions gonna be? Like, you gonna tell her you love her? Like, what are you gonna do? He looked at me, and I'm gonna tell you tonight, I know he's like, I ain't even go over there. I spoke truth. I ain't perfect. I done my shit in the past. But I tell you this, I ain't got time for that shit. Like, I'm a bad liar. So fucking be upfront and honest. I look at my girl and be like, hey, babe, what's up? Like, shit, motherfucker can't accuse me or nothing. I just don't believe that, like, right now. Before, I used to be like, oh, somebody fuck you over, it's okay. But the mature side of me is like, fuck that. Like, I don't have time for it. You gonna go through some ups and downs of your relationship, but communication and like working together is how you make that shit work. Period.
Again, though, that goes back to why there's so many broken fucking people out here.
They never get fixed and they go fuck up other people, make them broken.
Baby, let's say it again. I it's like I say, I'm very content being by myself. I've learned to love my own company, right? I want a person in my life. I would love to have a lifetime partner, but the broken and unhealed people have made it so easy to just be by yourself. Like, I don't want to be with somebody that I have to worry about if I'm getting cheated on or if they're entertaining other people. Like, I just don't. There's no need for it. If you can't be honest and genuine, then leave me the fuck alone. Move around. Move around. I have a TikTok posted that says, if you're coming to disturb my peace, leave me the fuck alone. Don't disturb my peace for no reason. If you're coming to disturb it for the right reasons. If not, just leave me the fuck alone.
Honest, genuine, and got God in your life. That's period. Like, and I think that for the guys that are good men and consider themselves kings, I think far as the mental health thing is having a woman, period, where you just could do great things for, and they motivate you more, and they give you that same energy, and it's like fuck, like I've been experiencing things that I'm like, damn, they reciprocate the same energy. It's women out there that reciprocate the same energy, and once a man get that in a relationship, and it's going back and forth, it's a game that can be played forever. And that's how, like, most people, like, I know marriages right now, 30, 40, 50 years, like, and it's the same thing. You just pass that energy back and forth. It's a game you play. And guess what? The game never ends. It's never fourth quarter. It's never overtime. The game just keep going and going and going because you're going back and forth. You keep each other happy, giving that energy back and forth. It's like, fuck. And let me tell you something. I'll be honest and blunt. You can never run out of romantic things to do. It's like so many fucking romantic things to do. It is a million things to do. You probably don't have a lifetime to do everything. And let me tell you another thing too, sexualized. There's a fucking million nasty motherfucking things to do. Sex can never get boring unless you're a bored missionary motherfucker. It can never get boring. So I'm gonna be honest with you. With those two, with those things said, I like to be honest and blunt because some people, sex get boring. Well, you must be a missionary, motherfucker. Whatever. But no,
Right.
so it's just so many ways of doing things. Like communicate with your partner, play the game, keep going back and forth, getting that energy back. Trust me. Like I'm working on that. You know,
Hey, at
but
least you can say you're working on it. Like
yeah,
that's the key, right? That's the part of your mental health is building and working and learning how to provide those type of actions and feelings and everything that you need. Like because if you find a good woman, right? And like let's use your friend for instance. He has a woman, this bitch is sending him some naked photos, right? And so he goes over here and fucks this bitch, and then he goes home. And see, the thing about us women, let me tell y'all something. Let me put y'all on a little bit of game. Us women have something called intuition. Okay. And we
uh,
know when y'all are fucking up. We can feel it. You know, your body language changes. You know, y'all do things. Sam's turning red. I'm not turning red. Um, we y'all do things that it's very easy to tell, right?
mm,
But what cracks me up, right? I'm gonna just state this because I've seen it several times. You fuck up, you go cheat on your woman, she leaves you, but then you realize what you've lost.
she lost.
The person that's fed into you, the person that's done everything that they need you to do, and then you want to come crawling back because whatever you went for did not work out for you. And all of a sudden you miss what you had. But when in reality you could have just not been a fuck up and kept what you had. Like,
Let me react. You know, when women say they fuck up, right? So let me tell you something right now, right? So access to phone, right? It's never not a time right now where I not answer my phone. I don't send her a voicemail. She calls me and she FaceTime me, I answer. There's consistency, right? When a person gets to a point where they don't answer text message, they don't fucking answer phone, they call you back later. Typically, guys, women do this, but a lot of guys do this shit. They on some bullshit. The phone consistency kind of like start to turn. Like right now, like she FaceTime me, answer. FaceTime me, answer. Text, I answer. Unless I'm at work and I'm busy, as time go by, but at some point response and the energy is given back. If I miss a FaceTime, FaceTime her back. When you get to a point where you talk to somebody and the FaceTime become, when people fuck up, they don't want to answer the phone or they might decline. Don't fucking send me to a voicemail relationship. You send me to a voicemail, your ass better be at fucking work or something busy or better be.
man, I'm telling you, that
Do not
communication stops. You better leave me alone.
like. I don't mind being sent to voicemail. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes people are busy, but when you just on some random shit and send it to voicemail, it's like, what the fuck?
Or when you've been again, like I said, they get you, lure you in, and then the consistency falls off, right? So if you're talking, communicating, FaceTiming, texting all day long, and then that shit slowly starts to dwindle, it's like, all right, who the fuck you entertaining now? Because you were giving me all that time, but all of a sudden it's gone, and you can't give me that.
Yeah, that's true. That's why I say you got to continue to play the game, give each other energy back and forth. Because when you give each other energy back and forth, like you said, you like to be around that person. It gets fun. That person's open minded. You get to crack jokes. You get to laugh. You get to watch the same movies. You get to watch
Yep.
this, that. You do love being around that person. Let me tell you something. That shit's exciting when you get that energy back and forth. When you're with somebody and you can't even fucking strike a match to let that energy go back and forth, that's when it's time to go. You need to let it go. And some people stay in those situations longer when there's no energy being delivered back and forth. It's like you just there.
Well,
So
not only that, but speaking for myself, when you've been giving me all that attention and that energy, if there's a point where that starts to shift and you start making me feel like I'm a bother to you,
ooh, yeah.
that's gonna make me fall all the way back. Because if I feel like I'm a bother to you, I ain't gonna bother you no more. I'm gonna just fall back, and then you're gonna be like, "Well, what's the problem? What? Well, I haven't heard from. Well, I feel like I'm bothering you, so I'm not gonna bother you no more. I'm gonna be like, you do you. I'm gonna do me. You know.
Nah, it was, I'm just cousin. He said there's and put this up there. There's no better feeling than sharing positive tranquility with your partner from a clear conscience. Whew.
That's a deep
You
one.
dropping jewels, man. Oh, no.
Sounds like a very smart person. No, I'm just kidding. No, he is dropping some jewels though. But I mean, that's true. You know, when you have shit to hide, or you're doing dirt, or you're lying, you can't share that positive tranquility. There's no way.
Facts.
There's no way. There's no possible way.
You know
Like,
what's funny? I'm gonna bring it to you. You probably know women that go through this, right? I know you know women that fuck with men that's probably in a relationship or fuck with men that's married, right? You know what fucks a woman up? Just trying to fuck with a man and being told no. A man that actually be this faithful. That's what fuck a lot of women up. Not women that fuck with like people that's in relationship, that that's in relationships. You know what I'm saying? Not your other women, but what messes a woman up that's trying to like take a man away from a situation, and when he tells her no and doesn't entertain it, it fucks them up mentally. Why? I know it's not you, but do you know why? I know it's not you, but do you know why? Because I
it's
know.
the getting shot down. That does something to your ego, right? Because I'm pretty sure it's the same way with men. Like, I go on these TikTok lives and I get hit on every fucking time, right? Oh my God, you're so beautiful, blah, blah, blah. Let me take you out. I'm like, no, like I'm seeing somebody and I'm big on respect and loyalty, right? And so I've had some people who are rude about it, but then I've had some that are like, oh, okay, well, I appreciate, thanks for being honest or whatever. But the ones who are being rude, it's their ego. They're not used to being told no. So when you're not used to being told no, when you get told no by somebody, it's like, what the fuck? Like,
Right. Yeah.
Like, you just told me no? Like, bitch, do you not see what I look like?
Like, oh, I can't believe I've been fucking shut down. But it's rare though that you do see men that when women approach them, they are taken, they don't fucking entertain it no matter how you look. Like, I appreciate the offer, but no, you got a woman. Ain't nothing having the good like having a woman that respects you, that gives you that energy for you to deliver it back. And to have that going back and forth, you really ain't trying to fuck that up for nothing in the world. Yep. I'm at a point in life where I'm like trying to just live and have fun and travel my partner, do everything. All that is important. Like, in all honesty, all that is important. So, from when a man actually find a woman that he can be vulnerable with and they be consistent, like the sky's the limit. Period.
So let me ask you a question, Jay, and those of y'all that are watching. What does it take for a man to become comfortable and vulnerable with his woman?
I got it. A man that's not being like judged. No, don't judge us. A man doesn't like being judged. Respect it. Respect is so huge. And believe it or not, the little things is what matters to me. Like, I'm not a person like, don't buy me like watches and all this fucking expensive. I don't give a fuck about that. I was with somebody that did that, all this expensive. I don't fucking care about that. I care about the little things. I don't need watches, I don't need that. The little things that matter for a man. And we do the little things that matter, it make us say, oh babe, damn. It make a woman that can make a man vulnerable, they make a man say things that is not like programmed to say, just shit just comes out. Oh babe, damn, I love you for this. It makes certain shit just come out. And that's the woman. Because she ain't like, I see women, and most people are different, they got money, whatever. I'm gonna get you this like this fucking $200,000 car. Oh. But for like me, a woman can't show up with like this expensive car in my driveway. A woman come up to me like, hey, the Bears are playing Dallas on this road trip, and let's take this road trip to Dallas, go to this game. I know you're gonna love it. We're gonna wear Bear shirts, we go bear down, shit like that. Like, I'm like, damn, man, I'm about to eat your booty tonight, baby. Like, I'm about to
oh man. I mean, but it's true. Like, that's what I always say. It's the small things that matter. Like, show up and just first of all, just showing up with the consistency. That is like the biggest, right? Like, but it is the small things. Like, I don't know. It's
When
like
I
you
was
said earlier, people make this shit a lot harder than what it should be. A
when
lot
I
harder.
was married, there was a lot of things I didn't understand. But one thing I can say when I was married, I tried to do. I wasn't a big cooker, right? So I figured that, hey, by the time my wife works all fucking day, let me fucking YouTube some shit and prepare stuff. And it was just at the time, she did not appreciate. Like I prepared things, and some shit turned out real good though. Her kids ate it, so I know the shit was good. Like it's shit, they ate it. But I tried to step outside my zone of comfort and do things that was different. And me today, I wouldn't step outside my zone of comfort and do things that's different. That's why the man I am today, I said, and I tell her like, hey, this is what we're doing. I'm gonna take care of this. We're gonna do this. And the energy has been delivered back and forth. And like I say, sky is the limit. That's what people gotta realize in this relationship. Like it's hard, it's complicated sometimes, but don't make it as complicated. It's complicated as you make it. Sky's the limit. Be open minded and everything. And you gotta have God, period. Like I just don't think things prosper without some assurance from the most high God. Yeah, that's just me.
But the work can never stop. A relationship is always work.
Yes.
Always work. You always have to work on each other. You always have to help build each other. Like that, it's a foundation. If you pour a foundation and you don't, what do they say? I know down here in Texas, at least, they tell you you're supposed to water your slab because it can crack because of the heat.
Mm-hmm.
You don't water that shit, you're ruining your foundation. It's the same thing with your relationship. If you don't water your grass, right, that shit's gonna die. But I think at a certain point, people become complacent, and once you get to a certain level, I think a lot of the issue is you're comfortable. So I don't know if they just stop, or I don't know what the issue is because I haven't been in a healthy relationship in years. Like that's why I've stayed single, right? Because I've gotten to a healthy place. So, but it just takes works. It's continuous effort, continuous effort.
I'm gonna give you one word: motivation. Right? I think that in a relationship, and I failed at this. That's why I had many failed relationships. The word motivation is rarely like attentive. And what I mean by that is like, let's say for example, you have a partner and she tells you or he tells you like, hey, I want to lose some weight. And you're like, oh baby, you're fine. Well, you might think she's fine, but in reality, she wants to make a difference. She wants to be motivated and she wants to do something. Go out for walks with your significant other, go out and like jog, whatever she wants to do. I think you got to sacrifice and like, man, you got to step outside your zone.
Yep.
Yeah, women got to do the same thing, step outside their zone box. It's the motivation. When you see your partner assisting you doing certain things where it could be like studying for like some type of exam, encourage them to go for a promotion. When you get that motivation, that's like energy. That's you can't pay for that.
Yeah.
That's like that's real like motivation. I think sometimes we become complacent in relationships where we're like, oh baby, fine. Oh, you this, you that. Like, come with me. Or let's try this diet together. Just it's like the little things that matters. Like it depends on what you're doing. It could be like, or she might like fucking salsa dancing, and you don't like it, but shit, let's go salsa dance. Let me go fucking move my two left feet. It's just like the sacrifice for motivation, and you're like, damn, he really don't like doing this, but he's doing this for me, and he's actually enjoying it. And that's all that matters, though. Is to keep each other motivated, and like it's just as you said, you give that energy back and forth. It's a game, energy back
It
and forth.
is.
It's just that simple, though.
It is.
Hmm.
You know what? My favorite place in the world is the ocean, right?
Hmm.
And when I tell you this man has never been to the ocean, but guess what we're doing for Father's Day weekend? We're going to the ocean. And not only are we going to the ocean, we're going on a deep sea fishing trip.
Whoa, deep sea. Ooh, that's big.
So
He's jumping right in.
it's the continuous effort. And that's something that has lacked in the dating world that I've been in is the continuous effort. But he's stepping out of his comfort zone to try something new. And that means so much to me because a lot of people are scared of the ocean. I feel like if I'm supposed to die in the ocean, that's where God says I'm supposed to go. I always say my soul belongs in the ocean. I love the water, right? But he's like, what if a shark? If I see a shark, I'm like, don't worry about that. I got you. If we see a shark together, we're gonna poke it in his eyes or something. But he's stepping out of his comfort zone to do something new and to try something new with me, and that means so much to me because he don't have to do that shit. He ain't never been to the ocean in his life. What's another year going by that he doesn't go? What's that gonna do? Like it's not nothing to him. So for him to step out of his comfort zone and to do something that I like to do for Father's Day weekend, like it ain't even my birthday, like, and he made the comment, this is an experience I want to try with you and my father. I'm like, let's do it, but that's part of the small things that matter. Like, I want to do a lot of first experiences with my partner. I want to do things together. And like you said, I'm a huge football fan, diehard Saints fan. Don't say nothing about them. I don't want to hear it. Okay.
I don't keep my words.
I don't want to hear it, but I've been to 2 football games, and that's something that I'm going to do yearly now. I'm going to attend a game every year. Do you know what it would mean to me for my significant other to take a road trip to go watch a football game together? Like, I don't need expensive shit. I do like shoes, but I don't need expensive shit, right? So let's go do them small things and feed into each other that way. But yeah, I don't know.
It's quite simple and easy. Well, this has been a terrific show because we can go on and on and on and on. But we're gonna come back. We're gonna do it again. And I'm gonna talk to you off camera about something more permanent because I like the way that the communication is. They're going back and forth. Like y'all put me on game today, though. Y'all actually learned something through this podcast tonight from you, from some of the viewers. I'm like, damn, they hit me with some jewels, and you hit me with some things. I'm like, damn, I didn't.
Hold on, because Cuzzo just posted another jewel that you need to read.
Uh-oh, let me post it out. A relationship is just like what it says in the Bible. You'll be known by the fruit you bear. Oh, Cuzzo. Damn.
Cuzzo, what's your phone number? No, I'm just playing.
Hey, he's dropping some jewels.
Real quick, though, before we go, I want to hit on this podcast was originally about men's mental health. And you know that I come from a background where we've dealt with mental health. So I do want to hit on something a little bit more serious real quick. So as I said, I did my research, right? Because I like to come with facts. So the statistics on suicides in males, right? And this goes back to the mental health because the years that I was in the career that I was doing, I dealt with 5 suicide callers, 2 unsuccessful that I listened to them unalive themselves and pass while I was on the phone. And those haunted me for a long time. But all 5 of those calls were males. And all 5 of those calls, at some point in time, while trying to talk them down from ending their life, had something to do with a relationship. So I just want to touch on something. So there's a report that came out from the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention in May of 2023. As anybody, I don't know if anybody knows, but May is mental health awareness month. And in 2021, so this report came out in 2023, but it was on 2021 facts. Something that blew my mind. Men died by suicide 4 times more than women did. And there was 48,000 deaths by suicide in 2021. There was 1.7 million suicide attempts in 2021.
Was that in the country, like the United States or the world?
That's the United States of America.
Oh, wow. I didn't
know. So this is why it's hard for me to understand why when somebody is going through something that can be detrimental to their relationship, to their life, to their children's life, I say this on my TikTok and all my other social media platforms. If you ever need somebody to talk to because you feel like you can't talk to the people around you, I am a safe place. sorry, I get emotional. I had a friend who killed himself when we were 15 years old. And
Mm.
so um, I missed the phone call from him that night. We were 15 and I was at a friend's birthday party. And I missed the phone call from him that night. And I was the person that he would call when, sorry guys.
That's all.
um, I was the person that he would call when things were going wrong in his life because we grew up together. And so um, this is why I spoke on the men's mental health awareness, because I've seen when he wasn't a man at the time, he was a kid, we were kids, but I've seen what it does to somebody when they feel like they can't turn to their loved ones to talk to them, or they feel like they're going to be scrutinized or judged because of what they're going through, or they don't have anybody to talk to. So I don't know how many people are on watching right now, but it's something that I tell everybody all the time. If you ever feel like you just are at a point where you're ready to give up, I am a safe place. I don't judge. I've been through shit in my life. We all have demons, but reach out to somebody, even if it's a stranger and you can't talk to your people. Like, just take care of your mental health and heal yourself. That's the number one thing. Just heal yourself. Be kind to yourself, because if you can't be kind to yourself and heal yourself, you can't be kind to anybody else. So sorry for the emotions, but
That's true.
um,
Uh,
this is part of the reason why I talked about it that day, because his anniversary is in the month of May. So, and it's Mental Health Awareness Month, and yeah, suicide is a real thing, and like you said, you were in a deep place too.
yeah,
So
I was there last year, and I totally understand where you're coming from. It takes a strong circle, and like you say, people they can reach out to you if they like indeed, but it takes a strong circle because like I am the person I am today because of what I went through last year, and I know that life is too short. I know that at any given point there was thoughts of doing things that life was like overwhelming. It was like I would I would say it was partially of just like having to deal with some things and dealing with like personal issues in life. It's like why? But then you get to realize how valuable life is, how valuable God is. I had the kids, you have to just make some changes, and it's like I came from a very deep place that I didn't know I could even get to. I thought I was just too strong to even have these thoughts because I never have to deal with it. So when I went through that situation last year, it was like, what the hell? How do I deal with it? And it takes like strong people that you can actually talk to,
yep,
because people that dealt with it that haven't said anything, and they will open up to you because you share that. And it took me a while to like, because I'm like so strong. I'm like so like macho. I'm like always there for people. I'm always there like uplifting others. And at that point in time, I had no one to really uplift me because I didn't. They people know what's going on, but I had a strong circle of people around me. But the person that I wanted to lean on at the time just totally like, man, like when you got like expectations and somebody let you down like your worst point in life,
man, that's
it's it's,
that's a
it's
hard feeling.
yeah, I was devastated. Like I feel like I was like shot in the chest. Like so, it took me some like meditating, and it took me some places I went to go see where I'm like, why am I here? Like,
Because you have a purpose.
and then that's what they had the purpose. I sit, and there's like a voice, like it was like a chill that came over me. I remember this. I'm sitting at the lakefront. It was like a chill came over me, like you got a purpose here. You're a strong man. And it's like God said, I built you to be strong. I put you through this for a reason. Now let's figure it out. Let me tell you, from where I was this point last year, around this point, maybe like around April, and where I am right now today, a year later, I'm a much stronger person, more positive. I'm still working on me, but let me tell you, it's more positive, way more positive than the negative things I've been dealt with. So I'm more humble right now in life,
It's
very,
awesome.
and I'm trying to be. I'm more open minded. I take definitely more accountability. I went through a lot of stuff, and it took like the positive circle of positive people. That's why when I meet people, like for you, like with positive energy, I like to keep that around me I don't give a damn, male, female, whoever. I don't fucking care. Like I like to keep that positive energy around me because you just never know when you're gonna need somebody. And I'm not talking about like financially, and I'm not talking about nothing like that. It's talking about the mental aspect of it because that's real. And I went through a part in life where I had friends, both male and females, that were there for me. And they didn't even know it, but they were there for me. I was feeding off their energy, and it took me a while. I went through a lot, and having that positive circle is easy. I met people on TikTok, and some I still haven't met in person. But we talk like we the homies, but that's because they provide that positive energy and that
That's what
positive.
it is.
Because that's life is real shit, especially for us men, because we just never seem to talk about our feelings and what we go through at all. We always like tight lipped, and that shit is real. So I'm not perfect by any means, but like I'm trying, and I'm living a better life, and particularly because I'm learning to deal with my mental health on different aspect, and I'm doing therapy too, so that's just
Well,
real.
guess what, Jay? You're not alone because nobody is perfect.
Mm.
And as long as you're working on it, it will always get better. That's for every aspect of your life. If you're putting in the work, it will always get better. So
Always
put in the work.
positive energy. I love my people's of positive energy. Now, those of you goddamn people with negative energy, stay the hell away from me.
Don't come to disturb my peace.
Get your ass over there. I ain't
Right.
trying
That's why when I'm on TikTok, I'm like, look, if y'all are coming in my live, it's good energy, good vibes, and good music. If you weird, nasty, just get the fuck out because you're gonna get blocked anyway. So
what
no,
we're gonna talk about the good music part another time though. But hey, look,
yeah.
I appreciate you doing this, and we're gonna do something more.
You know what? I appreciate you having me on. I'm glad that I was going live on TikTok and you jumped in, and I'm glad that you saw the. That's the one thing that I really get on there for. So, like I always say, it's either get on with y'all in the evening or be running the streets, and I ain't running the streets. So, if I can come on and actually a couple of weeks ago, I had somebody reach out to me and let me know that something I was talking about saved him from ending his life.
Whoa.
So that was one of the times when we were talking about mental health. So if I can go online and I can spread my joy and positive and because like I said, I wasn't always this person. It's taken a lot of years to get to where I'm at, and I've embraced who I am, and I love me for me. And so if I can spread this good, as I call it, this good juju, I'm trying to shoot it out there. So if I can make one person change the way that they're thinking that moment and help them figure out a way to think other than harming themselves, then I'm going to continue to do that every day. So thank you for coming in. Thank you for asking me to join this. I hope we can do many more of these in the future and build up a little following.
It is. We're building this up. This will continue. Got people to be continued is happening again.
To be continued, guys. Jay ain't going nowhere. She's here to motherfucking stay. So
Hey, we've been a parlay. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. We're gonna end this show tonight, but you're gonna see us again. We coming back, y'all.
coming back with a vengeance. Have a good night, y'all.
All right.